question as to why it's on the ballot.
25 years, the DWP as a public organization has been talking about solar energy. 12 years ago, I think that's when they initiated, they'll be getting 1 megawatt a year, and I would argue that's not enough. I would argue we can sit here and the City Council can pass a resolution tomorrow for the DWP to do X, and the DWP, God bless them, are going to figure out a way to do Y, which really isn't X, and without the voters mandating that they do solar power, the DWP for the last 25 years is going to continue to find a way to nickel and dime and really talk about renewable energies and not do it. And find a way, we're working on a study, we're talking about it, well, we have to change the policy to coincide with SB 1, and well, this young lady over here asked, well, how many of those initiatives have actually been started? Out of the 5, only 1, the other 2 we're working on, and I'm pretty sure 5 years from now, if you present the same thing, you would say, well, we're still working on that 1, the state legislature passed the legislation, the governor signed a bill, so we had to fix it. Gosh, we want to come out and make it perfect. Well, if the voters of LA don't stand up and say, we need solar power now, then the DWP's never going to do it. That's my position. That's the yes on B's position. But you can take the 1 megawatt a year and, you know, call it a great day, or you can actually be aware that the city of LA has about 2,000 hours of sun generating power a year, and let's take advantage of it. Why let 1 megawatt be what we do? Why should that be our standard?
If IBEW, as you've said, has failed to embrace solar, doing only 1 megawatt a year for 12 years, EWP has failed in the mission of going green, then why would we reward them when they don't have the managerial ability, when all they do is have studies, as you described it, they never get anything done? Why would we reward them with all these jobs and with all this investment? Why wouldn't we turn to a program that actually got us the job done of going solar in a cost-efficient way that flourished the private sector? They've acknowledged they're going to hire private sector guys from out of state, buy the equipment from out of the country. The only 2 manufacturing plants in the United States are booked out for 3 years to make this equipment. Why are we going to the IBEW in this property 400 megawatts?
Couple questions there. So he asked, why are we rewarding what I would argue the DWP, which is what I said. Mr. K brings up IBEW, which I'll speak to in a second. What the DWP spokesperson said before me was that hiring outside civil service exempt is merely an option that he has available to him, which is part of the contract that you speak of, which isn't really a contract, but between DWP and IBEW, within the rules that they govern themselves by in terms of the bargaining agreement that they have, hiring folks outside of the civil service scope is perfectly allowable. So that's and that's just one of the many options the DWP has available to itself to get said program done. Now, you're saying, why would we reward IBEW with solar energy? I don't see it that way. My argument would be is why isn't the city of LA taking advantage of our God-given sun to produce clean burning energy? You see that as a reward somehow. I see that as an efficient use of possible energy that the city of LA can take advantage of.
And I know that why you're here, and I think we appreciate your position. I hope that you appreciate our position, which is we are for solar. You don't have to sell us on it. We are in full agreement. We just don't like the way it's being done. We don't like the lack of process. We don't like the lack of protocol. We don't like the fact that our charter is being twisted and tweaked. We don't like that very much. We don't like the fact that our community has not been involved, that neighborhood councils have not been involved. We don't like the overall, we like the solar, and we would love to have had it in the way that it should have been done. Not the way it is, no. And I don't expect any answer from you now, just to listen. So that when you talk to other people, you will know what our position is. Our position is yes on solar, but it's no on the on Measure B.
I understand.
And thank you.
I will say this as a statement.
No, you don't have to. You've already
Our
spoken.
campaign's going to go to as many neighborhood councils as possible to talk about this measure. There are two process issues. There's one version where this charter amendment or resolution could have gone through city council and been signed by the mayor, and then I think this young lady over here would have said, well, they had only 4 votes and they were eating knobs from the back rooms, and no, there was no public hearing. My argument is, we're putting this in front of all the voters of the city of LA.
We understand that, and we thank you very much. We know that the philosophy behind it. Thank you.
Which puts a lot more sunshine on the initiative. Thank you. I'm of the understanding that working Californians were the advocates of this initiative, and they presented this initiative to be placed on the ballot, and it was. This didn't. I don't believe this arrived in or was written in the mayor's office or in a city council sort of office. This was written by solar advocates who presented their plan to the city council and the mayor to go down this process to get solar energy in the city of LA. I do believe, yes, IBEW has contributed money to the SOMB campaign.
How much money has it contributed?
I don't know the exact
Has it
amount.
contributed more than $100,000 or less?
Last year they contributed.
If the over and under is 100,000, they contributed slightly more, yes.
Slightly
Last year they-
more than 200,000?
Again,
Last year they
answer the 100 and
contributed
over.
$300,000 to work in California.
Okay, does that make sense to you that they contributed $1/3 of a million?
It's gonna be over $500,000.
I mean, if someone wants to donate to a campaign, it makes sense.
So that's not my question. The question is it true that the IBEW
Forget it,
is
it's
already
not
donating
illegal.
over $1 million
Forget it.
to the campaign?
I don't know that to be true.
Thank you. He's not going to answer that because he says.
Well, he's their representative, so I have the right to answer that, and if he wants to say he doesn't know, that's a little peculiar because
did say he didn't
lots of
know.
other things.
I mean, answer your over and under on 100.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Thank you. If the IBEW is actually coming in under the auspices of the Working Californians, correct?
Yes, as are many other
So,
entities.
no, but the Working Californians are the one who put the proposal before the city council,
a coalition of
and
several
they're the ones who are going to
organizations,
implement it,
yes.
and they're the ones who are going to control it.
Well, they're advocates. They're advocates.
Only in this respect, that the CEO of the Working Californians is also the president of the IBEW. There's a somewhat of conflict of interest here that, we haven't really pursued, and I wonder about that. And I think there are a couple of other areas of conflict of interest. And I think that you ought to know that. And so when people ask you from the neighborhood councils, be up in front and say, yes, Mr. Darcy is the head of both of these, the Working Californians and IBEW.
Well, I do know he's the head of IBEW, yes.
Do you know if he's the head of Working Californians?
I do not.
I just told you.
If you looked at the Working Californians website, you would see that he is. I would imagine that's something you really should know if you're going to talk to groups like ours.
I do know of all the entities involved with Working Californians, and I work for them.
And also, when you talk about the unions, the DWP, you're talking about the same thing, because the union now represents almost 95% of all management. So there's no independence there. They're all the union.
95%
I think
of the
there's only
employees,
like 4
right?
managers that are independent.
Mike, thanks for coming.
Thanks,
for
Michael.
answering the question.
Anytime.